All right, so we are going to start a new unit, and this is called solving systems. And the first way we're going to solve a system is by graphing. So first of all, what is a system of equations, and then how can we go about solving them by graphing? So a system of equations is pretty simple. All it is it sounds complicated, but it's just a set of two or more equations. So if we look at here, one equation, two equations, that would be it. Or in this one over here, I've got two equations right here. So two or more equations. So you would sometimes possibly have more. For our purposes, we will only have two. And they're going to have two or more variables. So notice here, 1, 2, x and y, these x and y. And you could have more, and as you get into higher math, you will. But for us, we're just going to have two equations with two variables. Okay, so how do we solve systems like this? One of the ways that we can do that, there's really three ways, and one of those ways is by graphing. Okay, so we're going to solve a system. What does it mean when we solve systems? Well, you know that the equations that we just saw with two variables really represent a line. Okay, and what we're looking for is really where, when I'm given two equations, I'm looking for where those two lines cross. So in this case, that would be this point right here. This is my solution. That point where they intersect, that's what we're looking for when we're solving systems, is where those points intersect. In this case, that would be the point -2, 3. And when we solve systems, we're going to write our answer as an ordered pair. So that red line that you see there, this is actually the equation y equals x plus 5. So now, if I take the -2, 3 down here, remember this is x and this is y, and I plug it in up in here, okay? So y is 3, and x is -2. I should get a true statement when I solve this, or when I simplify this. -2 plus 3, or plus 5 is 3, so those check out. That, okay, I get a true statement. Now, I should also get a true statement when I do the other one. So let's see if I do that and it works here. -2 times -2 minus 1. So I get 3 equals 4 minus 1. And notice I get a true statement here too. Okay, so this is what that means really. This point lies on both of those lines. It's the only point that is on both of those lines, the red line and the blue line. So what we're ultimately just trying to find, though, is that point right there, and the only one that is on both, which would be where they cross. And we can do this by graphing by hand. So you remember by hand what we did was we would say, all right, this is my y-intercept. That's my b. And this slope is 1/3. Okay, so remember, I'd plot the y-intercept. We did this earlier in the year. You'd plot the y-intercept at -3. And the slope was 1/3. It says it's 1/3. Remember, this is your rise over your run. Okay, so you would go up 1 and 3 units to the right from this dot right here. So up 1/3. And you could keep doing that. You could go up 1 and over 3 again a couple of times if you just want to make sure you have a few points. Up 1/3, just so you have a few, and then you would draw your line. So I'm going to draw my line. Adjust that a little bit, and there we go. There's my first line. And then I would do the other one. This one here, I have a y-intercept of +4. That's my b in this one, so I'd put a dot at 4. And my slope is -2. I'd put that over 1. That would be rise over run again. Remember? Okay. And so from 4, that green dot that I made, I'd go down 2 and over 1. Okay, and I'd do that a couple of times maybe. And notice they end up crossing. It looks like it crosses right there. And now I'm going to draw my line. And maybe I need to make a quick adjustment. So I do that, and there we go. And now, where do they cross? Well, they cross at that point where they intersect there. Looks to be, let's see, let's make it a different color. This point right here, which that point is x is 3, and y is -2. It's the point 3, -2 is that. So that's my solution. This is the only point that's on both of them. Now that's one way to do it. It just takes a little while, and you need a graph. So we've been talking about how powerful our graphing calculators are. They're called graphing calculators for a reason. We can use these to graph equations, and that's what we're going to do here because it's a little faster and it's pretty useful. So this is how you do this. These are the steps. Steps will be on your assignment. So we're just gonna try this. Okay. So we're gonna graph these systems, and we're gonna use our graphing calculator, our MCA calculator, to do it. So our first equation that we're gonna do is y equals 4x plus 1 and y equals 1/2 x plus 8. And we're going to type those into our calculator and find out where they cross. So here's how we do this. Okay, so first thing, you want to open up your MCA calculator. Grades 8 and 11 graphing calculator. Get that started again. Okay. All right. Now, once you have it up, you're going to type in the equations. In order to do that, there's only one way you can type it in. Both the equations have to be in y equals form. You'll notice in the upper left, there's a y equals button. So we're just going to press that, and you can type in a bunch of equations. We will only need 2, but the first one is going to go under y1, and the second one will go in y2 here. So the first one, the first one will go right here. And our first equation was 4x plus 1. So 4, the x button is right here, right to the right of that green alpha button. You'll notice it says x, t, theta, and n. That's where you'll find the x, so use that. And then plus 1. Okay, so that's y equals 4x plus 1. Now we have another one, and it says 1/2 x plus 8. Whenever you type in fractions here, you want to put them in parentheses. So I'm going to put in parenthesis 1 divided by 2, like that. So put them in parentheses, then put the x plus 8. So it's 1/2 x plus 8. Again, fractions, always make sure they're in parentheses. Okay, after you've done that, just press graph. This will graph the two lines for you. You don't have to go through and do the rise over and run by yourself. Now you know how to do that. You know what it means. So what we're really looking at here is, again, where do they cross? I want to know that point. It looks like it's like 2,8 or maybe 2,9, but I want to make sure that I know for sure. So here's what we do. You're going to go to second. You're going to press the blue second button, and then you're going to go to calculate, which is the trace button. Right in blue above it, it says calculate. And so we want to hit second trace. That'll give us that calculate above there. And now we want to know where they intersect. So you're going to go down to number 5, or you can just press 5. So from now on, I'll just press 5. Okay, it's going to put the cursor on one of your lines. You're going to press enter. It's going to put the cursor on your other line. You're going to press enter again. And then it'll say, do you want me to guess? You're just going to press enter because no, you don't. Just press enter. And then once you get there at the bottom here, you'll notice it says intersection. That's where they cross. And it says x equals 2, y equals 9. So I'm going to write my answer, but I'm going to write it as an ordered pair. So I'm going to write 2, 9. and that's my answer for that problem right there. So on my assignment then, I would just write 2, 9, okay? That's all you have to do. And again, the steps are right there. Just make sure your answer's always as an ordered pair, okay? Fractions go in parentheses. So that's all you have to do. Now we're gonna do this one more time. The second equation is second problem says, where do these lines cross? Y equals 1/4 x minus 5, and y equals negative 5/4 x plus 7, okay? So we're gonna do that on our calculator, and I'm just gonna write down a couple of things so I don't forget. All right, let's go here. So now we've done that. We're gonna go back to the y equals screen. Okay, I'm just gonna clear that out and clear this one out. And we're gonna type our first equation. Our first equation is 1/4 x minus 5. Again, fractions in parentheses. So 1 divided by 4, x minus 5. The second one was negative 5/4 x plus 7. You should put the negative in the parentheses as well. So negative 5/4, like that. Then the x plus 7. Okay, graph. All right, that's what those two lines look like. And then I'm going to do second trace for calculate. I want number 5 intersect, so I'm just going to press 5 this time. And then first curve, enter. Second curve, enter. Do I want to guess? No, so enter. And the intersection then is 8, negative 3. That's where they cross, and you've done it. Okay? This is 8, comma, negative 3. Again, always write it as an ordered pair. And that's all you have to do. We're going to do one more, because this last one's a little weird. So I want to touch on that one. So we'll go over that one. And, okay, I'm going to clear these out again. Press the y equals button, remember, and then y1. Ooh. Okay. The first equation is negative 2. Use that negative button at the bottom for negative. Don't forget to do that. If you type the minus sign there, in that case, you're going to get an error message. So don't do that. Use that negative button in this case. Okay, negative 2x, or negative 2/3 x, and then it says minus 4. Now this one you do want to use the minus button. Okay, and then the second equation is, so negative 2 divided by 3 x plus 6. Okay, I'm going to graph. Now notice it looks like these two lines are parallel. Okay, they don't cross. Now if you'll look back here, that's because they have the same slope. They have the same slope, so they're not going to cross. They are parallel. So now if you tried, let's say you keep going, you just went second trace, number 5, press enter 3 times. It'll say error, no sign change. What that means is they're parallel, they don't cross, so there is no solution. So actually that's what we write when their lines are parallel. Since we are trying to find, when we solve systems, we're trying to find where they cross, and these don't cross, you're going to write no solution. And again, that's because these lines are parallel. Their slopes are the same. If you notice their slopes are the same, you might not have to even go through this part. You could just say, "Ooh, they're the same, no solution." They're not going to cross, okay? And that's it. That's really all there is to it. Your assignment is to use your graphing calculator, your MCA calculator, to solve systems by graphing. Write it into your planner and check it off once you've turned it in. Good luck.